Not go away. It was constant. I said to my husband, we are making a phone call and going. That was the first treatment that I had with laser, and it's just so wonderful. I just relaxed. I feel I should have went sooner, and I didn't, but my knees are pain-free. It's just wonderful.
Just because chronic pain is common doesn't mean you have to live with it.
Call 844-200-PAIN to schedule your no-cost consultation.
He wants to be a firefighter, a doctor, a teacher, and he wants to be their governor. But Tim Michaels said funding public schools is the definition of insanity.
We're already throwing so much money at education.
He drained millions from public schools to help fund private schools in Milwaukee, and even consider ending the Department of Public Instruction. Tim Michaels wants to be governor for 4 long years. But what matters more to you, his future or theirs?
Straight ahead on Newswatch 12 at 5, a school district is giving teachers life-saving training. We'll break down how they're working to keep kids safe. Plus, Tim Michaels is lashing out at Governor Evers. We'll explain what Michaels is looking to change. And researchers are investigating younger cancer cases. We'll have the details as your local news starts right now.
Your local news and weather from where you live. Newswatch 12 at 5 starts now.
Welcome to Newswatch 12 at 5. I'm Jessica Jukich. Anaphylaxis results in approximately 1,500 deaths per year in the United States. However, with the correct use of an EpiPen, lives can be saved. Newswatch 12's Mohammed Abdul Kawi joins us live in studio to tell us more. Mohammed.
Jessica, today I went to Stevens Point to attend an anaphylaxis training course. It is part of a greater initiative by the city to stop these severe allergic reactions.
Anaphylaxis is very scary for individuals.
Anaphylaxis is a severe allergic reaction that requires immediate medical attention. At the Stevens Point Fire Department, they held an hour class to inform people of the danger.
It happens very quickly. A lot of times patients do not know what's going to happen. You can become allergic to anything at any time.
Dr. Leonard Markman is a family physician who says it is important to raise awareness because there is a high chance of you knowing somebody who is at risk.
You know, we know statistically about 1 out of 20 of us will have an anaphylactic reaction. But as I start talking to people, it's really probably more like 1 out of 10. We know kids are especially at risk. 1 out of 13 kids in the classroom are at risk for anaphylaxis.
The anaphylaxis course even grabbed the attention of Mayor Mike Wiesa. He met with Dr. Markman as well as George and Angel Mueller, the parents of Dylan, who had a law created to allow individuals to be able to carry and use an EpiPen on others.
And they explained to me that, you know, their son passed away because he had an allergic reaction and it wasn't available. And then you start looking into this a little more, and a lot of people have an allergic reaction that they don't recover from. And we can stop that.
Every second counts. With this new knowledge Mayor Wiesa has, he hopes that he'll be able to save a life or two.
I can't believe I am the first mayor who's epinephrine auto-injector certified in the entire country. To me, that's shocking because it is so common of a problem. You could be a hero. All you got to do is be familiar with it.
The mayor told me by January 2023, he hopes to have every building in Stevens Point to have an EpiPen available for use.
Thank you, Mohammed. It's a summer-like day outside, but that could soon change. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Willer's tracking some rain chances. Jeff?
Yeah, hey, Jessica. Sunny 70s are out there right now, but these hours are numbered as we have a cold front approaching the area tomorrow night. That is going to change our lives on Wednesday with high temperatures back in the 50s and 60s. But right now, we're hanging out in the 70s, 74 in Rhinelander, 77 for Wausau. That's not normal. The average high upper 60s. Don't you worry, though, if you like cooler temperatures. They are on the way later on this week. Lots of clear skies out there now. There's a couple of high clouds trying to pass by Vilas County, Iron County in there as well. They're going to go through pretty quickly tonight. There's a system to the west of us. That will stay to our north. But there are a couple of clouds trying to get going here across Nebraska. They could bring a sprinkle to parts of southern and central Wisconsin later on tonight. The rest of us, though, are waiting for a cold front. That one right there is going to swing through tomorrow night with storms tomorrow evening, and then a much cooler pattern kicking in. Our forecast ends tonight, though, is partly cloudy skies and low temperatures down near 55. Your full forecast is coming up, Jessica.
Thank you, Jeff. Today, Republican gubernatorial candidate Tim Michels is calling on Governor Tony Evers to halt all inmate paroles in the state. Michels has been calling out Governor Evers as being soft on crime. In a letter on Monday, Michels accused the governor of sympathizing with and coddling, quote, brutal convicted criminals. Evers spokesperson Britt Katterbach said it would be illegal to do as Michels wants, as he called the request, quote, an uninformed stunt to score political points by someone who has no regard or appreciation for the laws of our state. Polls show Michels and Evers are in a tight contest in the battleground state. Wisconsin's Parole Commission operates independently of the governor and has granted about 460 discretionary paroles. We're learning the name of a man who was killed in a motorcycle crash during the fall ride over the weekend in Tomahawk. According to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, the multi-motorcycle crash happened at 10 a.m. on Saturday at County Road A in the town of Bradley. Deputies say 4 motorcyclists were involved in the crash and all had injuries. Authorities say 67-year-old Michael Tylock was not wearing a helmet and died at the scene. Investigators say 2 motorcycles were traveling southbound and preparing to turn when 2 other southbound motorcycles collided with them. 3 other motorcyclists were taken to the hospital. The crash is under investigation. A Merrill man is in custody after a drunk driving accident killed an 8-year-old boy. The crash happened just before 7:30 p.m. Saturday on State Highway 17 near the town of Merrill. Authorities say 41-year-old John Lottie was drinking and driving when he crossed the center line and hit another truck, which had 2 adults and 2 children inside. The other driver, a 37-year-old woman, was flown to a hospital, and the 8-year-old boy in the car died. Lottie is expected to be charged with homicide by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle. Doctors are searching for answers after a startling trend in colon cancer cases was discovered in North Texas. Researchers at UT Southwestern found that more younger people are developing the disease than ever before. Bianca Castro has the details.
At 34 years old, Chris Lopez was living as he should.
Just like a regular, young adult on vacation, just out there on the beach. That was the last thing I was worried about.
Blood in his stool prompted him to go see a doctor, and that's when they discovered a grapefruit-sized tumor in his colon.
I was like, oh my God, I was not expecting this at all.
The diagnosis launched him into a cancer battle that UT Southwestern researchers recently noted is the same battle more younger people are having to face.
I do colonoscopy about every other week, and I do maybe 10 or 15 of them. And almost every time I do one, I have a new patient that we diagnosed with rectal cancer. And many of them are younger than age 50, and it's frightening and horrifying.
Dr. Amina Wong sits on UT Southwestern's tumor board, a group of cancer doctors who analyzes recent cases. She noticed the number of their patients younger than 50 who had colon cancer had grown to 31%, and almost half of them were Hispanic. And now she's assembled a team to find out why.
We're looking at diet, also some biobehaviors, such as maybe people not getting up to go to the bathroom, and then the whole exposure zone from red meat to air, water access, transportation. What are all the different exposures by zip code, by heritage?
The research will take months, but the hope is to find clues that could lead to better ways to detect and, of course, prevent colon cancer. Chris is doing his part, too, advocating awareness and acting in several cancer support groups.
Hopefully, it'll make an impact.
Chemo, radiation, and surgery put him on the winning side of his battle against a cancer that doctors say is almost preventable, but still going undetected in so many until it's too late.
It's just broken so many families and so many friends, and it just breaks my heart.
Midterm elections are 7 weeks away. Coming up on Newswatch 12, we'll break down the top issues for voters on both sides of the aisle. That's After Weather with Jeff right here on Newswatch 12.
Look, we knew the other side would make up lies about me to scare you. Now they're claiming I want to defund the police and abolish ICE. That's a lie. I'll make sure our police have the resources and training they need to keep our community safe. And that our communities have the resources to stop crime before it happens. I'll bring back manufacturing. And I'll pass a middle-class tax cut. And if that's too scary for Washington, then so be it. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Featherstone, unmistakably Featherstone, far from ordinary, right at home. You have dreams, make them reality. Featherstone, unmistakably, unmistakably, unmistakably Featherstone.
Sue right, Jake middle, me on the left.
Yeah, I knew I'd win.
Are you saying
What's
something?
really happening over there?
I think you're on mute.
There's no substitute for real gaming fun. Go where fun lives. Old Chum Gaming Wittenberg.
It was important because for the protection and safety of my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. And plus, I always try to be a role model for them. I want to make sure that everybody feels safe from COVID and all the new variants that are happening, and they need to have a shot or get immunized.
Prices are going up on groceries, they're going up at the gas station. The only ones profiting are oil companies, big corporations, China, and Ron Johnson. Johnson makes money from investments in factories in China. No wonder Johnson's net worth has doubled since he's been in Washington. Even worse, Johnson's allowed oil and drug companies to jack up prices on us. He takes all that money from them. Ron Johnson profits, we pay the price. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Look what we did today. Nothing but sunshine out there pretty much all day long with temperatures back in the 70s. That's not normal. We're going to pay for it, and we are going to do that probably later on this week. But right now, let's just take it in, right? It's 74 in Rhinelander, a southwest breeze around 6, a dew point there at 50. Still kind of dry air across the area now. 77 for Wausau. Okay, you win that southwest breeze at 6 at well, and dew point there at 54 over in Wausau. Look at these temperatures around the area. Again, this is not normal. Average high upper 60s. All of us were above that today. Even a couple low 80s across central Wisconsin. But right now, it's 74 in Rhinelander, 77 for Leona, 81 in Green Bay. So again, this is all going to change. Not tomorrow, but on Wednesday, our lives are going to change. So those of you asking for some cooler days, those are on the way. Do a little dance because here it comes. It's going to feel more like fall Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for a long while to come. You ready for this? 77 tomorrow, but then 64 for Wednesday, even colder on Thursday. It looks like now likely, if we get the clouds to clear on Thursday evening, likely frost across the area Thursday night with highs in the 50s on Thursday. And then kind of hanging out near 60 for Friday, Saturday, into Sunday. So again, our lives are about to change on Wednesday as much colder temperatures are on the way. Right now, though, in Rhinelander, a gorgeous scene here in Rhinelander. Perfect little breeze out there. Temperatures in the 70s. A couple of high clouds across the region, mostly north of, say, Highway 8. But there is some stuff going on here. So overall, there's a little bit of energy in the atmosphere to the west of us right now. That'll likely go to our north. That one will. This one will go to our south. But there could be a little bit of something in here that develops overnight tonight that could bring us some areas of clouds by tomorrow morning, especially across parts of central Wisconsin. That will quickly move off to the east, though, and overall will stay dry tomorrow before a cold front comes through tomorrow evening. It's right in there. You can kind of see it. That's going to move in our direction tomorrow night. That's going to lift the air, and that's going to give us a chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night. And behind that cold front, you're going to feel that wind shift, and it's going to really cool things off around here after that. All right, so your forecast then for tomorrow, though. We're going to go for temperatures back in the upper 70s again for one more day. Highs basically in the upper 70s, even a couple low 80s. Further south, same story. They're talking about temperatures hanging out in the upper 70s, even a couple low 80s across Adams County. But again, these hours are numbered. This is the last day of this for a very long time around here. Our forecast then tonight, though, is partly cloudy skies, more clouds across central Wisconsin tonight. Look for not so low temperatures down near 55 with that south breeze around 5 for tomorrow. All right, here we go. So increasing clouds and breezy. There could be an early morning shower across central Wisconsin. Most of us will stay dry through daylight hours tomorrow. Highs near 77. A couple of you could go for 80, but it's going to be a bit breezy tomorrow. The southwest wind could gust near 25 throughout the afternoon. And then looking ahead, your 7-day forecast by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress shows tomorrow is 77. Wednesday, not so much, 64 for a high, meaning much of Wednesday spent in the 50s. We'll be in the 50s on Thursday. Looks like frost either late Wednesday night, the skies can clear out, or even Thursday morning. And then overall hanging out pretty cool, right? Friday, 61. Maybe a couple of showers in the forecast on Saturday, not a big deal, with highs in the 60s through the weekend. Jessica?
Thank you, Jeff. Hurricane Fiona brought on heavy rains, causing major destruction to parts of Puerto Rico. Most of the island was left without power on Sunday. Parts of the area experienced severe flooding and landslides. According to officials, roads have been closed and a highway bridge had been washed away by flooding from the river. Many rivers on the eastern side of the territory are in moderate to major flood stage. One river in the southeast has risen over 12 feet in less than 7 hours and is now over 25 feet. Puerto Rico's ports have also been closed and flights out of the main airport have been canceled. President Biden approved an emergency declaration for the island on Sunday. 2 House lawmakers are laying out their proposal for legislation to prevent another January 6th. Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney of Wyoming and Democratic Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren of California gave a preview in a Wall Street Journal op-ed. The proposed legislation aims to make it harder to overturn a certified presidential election in the future by proposing changes to the Electoral Count Act. On January 6, 2021, the Capitol breach delayed the certification of the 2020 election results by Congress. Among its provisions, the legislation would make it harder for lawmakers to raise objections to official electors submitted from states. The House is preparing to vote on the bill this week. If approved, the bill would have to be reconciled with legislation proposed by a group of senators released in July. With the midterm election just 7 weeks away, very different issues are topping the minds of voters. Republicans lead the economy and immigration, but Democrats are ahead on abortion and defending democracy. In a wide-ranging interview, President Biden declared the pandemic's over and would not firmly commit to run for re-election. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
In a stark demonstration of this nation's divisions, the top issues for voters ahead of the midterm elections reflect 2 separate campaigns. A new NBC News poll shows Republicans clearly leading on the economy, immigration, and crime, while Democrats have the advantage on abortion, threats to democracy, and climate change. As we wait to see which set of issues drives more voters to the polls, President Biden making waves on another key concern, declaring on CBS's 60 Minutes the pandemic is over.
We still have a problem with COVID. We're still doing a lot of work on it. But the pandemic is over.
Despite marked improvements, public health officials are divided over where the pandemic is headed this fall and winter. President Biden's approval ratings heading up to 45%, according to that NBC News poll. It's the highest mark in 11 months. The president not yet committing to run again in 2024.
Is it a firm decision that I run again? That remains to be seen.
Republicans, meanwhile, hammering President Biden's immigration policies as border cities in Texas have seen an influx of migrants since last week. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis getting a standing ovation in Kansas over the weekend after he sent 2 planes full of migrants to Martha's Vineyard.
They were given basically a lottery ticket to get to the wealthiest sanctuary jurisdiction in the country.
President Biden accusing the governor of playing politics with human beings as the political path to the midterms starts heating up. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Hundreds of couples are celebrating a major milestone. Coming up on Newswatch 12, we'll explain how they're marking half a century together.
Education begins at home. As a former science teacher, Tony Evers knows that getting parents involved in kids' education is critical to making sure every kid has the best start.
Our schools are now ranked in the top 10 in America.
Evers worked with both parties to fund schools by more than we have in the last 20 years. Evers' schools plan invests in skills training. He wants to reduce class sizes for more personalized learning and expand mental health counseling for kids who need it.
There's nothing more important than our kids' education.
He's doing the right thing on education.
Hypnotize your way to savings.
Breathing techniques to help you save.
Looking to make saving a habit?
Yeah, what's the secret?
No secret. Just open a savings account at BMO and we'll give you a cash reward for every month you save.
A cash reward?
Just for saving?
Mm-hmm. And when you open a checking account, we'll give you a $300 bonus to get your new savings habit started.
Love that.
What's your book?
How to get a $300 bonus and a monthly cash reward for saving with BMO.
He literally wrote the book on saving.
Has me on the cover.
When a bank helps you make real financial progress, that's the BMO effect.
Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Looking for one of our most capable Ford SUVs? Okay, great. We've got you covered. Spacious interiors, innovative tech, good looks, and a legendary off-road experience. Check out our inventory today, or let us help you place a custom order. Getting into the perfect Ford SUV? Well, it's easier than ever. Yeah, we've got you covered. Now choose FlexBuy on a 2022 Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer and get 0% financing for 66 months.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
Woodruff Appliance and TV is a family-owned discount appliances, furniture, mattresses, and electronics store. Find top models of GE brands at the best prices around. Woodruff Appliance and TV, 2 convenient locations in Woodruff and Tomahawk since 1939.
Violent crime up across Wisconsin. Families nervous about their safety. Yet Mandela Barnes called for releasing half of Wisconsin's jailed inmates. That would mean releasing over 10,000 criminals right into our neighborhoods. 10,000 reasons your family would be in more danger. Barnes also supported defunding the police. 10,000 more criminals with fewer police to protect us. What could go wrong? Wisconsin Truth Bank is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Walmart is upping the ante to compete in the fashion game. The retail giant has acquired Zeekit, which is a virtual fitting room platform. People can use the Be Your Own Model tool on the Walmart app to see how clothes will fit them, with the option of using a photo of themselves or to see how another model fits their choice. Walmart says it allows customers to see how the fabric drapes on and falls on their figure. The new feature launched last week. It's available in the Walmart app for Apple users. Well, what's the secret to a lasting marriage? You can ask 300 couples who have celebrated 50 years of marriage this weekend in Chicago. Michelle Gallardo shares their story.
We just have been together, seems like forever. And it's been a good 50 years.
50 years. A half century. It is an entire lifetime, and for the approximately 300 couples celebrating their golden anniversary at Holy Name Cathedral, these have been 50 years filled with children and grandchildren, joy and laughter, sadness and pain. And while their hands may not be as smooth as they were in 1972, they're still joined for better and for worse.
I came here, I was 20 years old, and I met those guys. We know each other only for 2 weeks.
That's it. Renewing their vows to each other during a highly emotional service, these couples from all over the Chicago area were joined by their families during this very special celebration.
It was very emotional. Yes. I hadn't thought about coming here, but when you're in there and you start thinking about 50 years that have gone by and all the experiences we've had together.
In an era where it seems not many are willing to put in the hard work that leads to a 50th wedding anniversary, these couples shared some of their secrets, both serious and not so serious. What's the secret of 50 years of marriage?
Never go to bed angry.
We may not be lucky at cards, but we're always lucky at love.
Be it negative or positive, you have to communicate. You can't read each other's minds. You have to communicate.
That sense of humor is very important.
And I learned one thing, she's always right.
Prices are going up on groceries, they're going up at the gas station. The only ones profiting are oil companies, big corporations, China, and Ron Johnson. Johnson makes money from investments in factories in China. No wonder Johnson's net worth has doubled since he's been in Washington. Even worse, Johnson's allowed oil and drug companies to jack up prices on us. He takes all that money from them. Ron Johnson profits, we pay the price. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Menards is a one-stop shop for everything you need. Plus, get 11% off. When it comes to cleaning, Zep has you covered. From kitchens to bathrooms, Zep Cleaning Solutions tackle the toughest messes. Get 11% off all Zep cleaning supplies. Stock up on your favorite Procter & Gamble products. They deliver quality products from brands that you can trust, like Dawn, Tide, and Bounty. Get 11% off all Procter & Gamble products now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Joe Biden on Medicare for All.
It's going to raise taxes on middle-class people.
Medicare for All would double your income taxes, ban employer-provided and union health plans, and bankrupt Medicare for seniors. Mandela Barnes still supports Bernie Sanders' socialist takeover of your health care.
Medicare for All is the easiest way to get us to universal health care.
Mandela Barnes, more liberal than Joe Biden, way too liberal for Wisconsin.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
High Point Sand and Gravel provides high-quality riprap, sand, and screened topsoil for almost any need. The high-quality rock and stone, boulders, and clear stone enhance the function and beauty of your home or business. Offering convenient delivery or pickup throughout northern Wisconsin and the UP, High Point Sand and Gravel provides premium landscaping materials, specializing in producing beautiful decorative stone for all types of landscaping projects. Contact High Point Sand and Gravel to help make your next project a dream come true.
He wants to be a firefighter, a doctor, a teacher, and he wants to be their governor. But Tim Michaels said funding public schools is the definition of insanity.
We're already throwing so much money at education.
He'd drain millions from public schools to help fund private schools in Milwaukee, and even consider ending the Department of Public Instruction. Tim Michaels wants to be governor for 4 long years. But what matters more to you, his future or theirs?
All right, Jessica, temperatures are hanging out in the 70s out there now. We'll do it again tomorrow before some big changes come our way late tomorrow night into early parts of Wednesday. Showers and storms are back in the forecast. Then, until then, just a couple of high clouds out there now. We're going to stay dry tonight, and most likely most of us will stay dry tomorrow. Until about this time tomorrow evening, we'll get a few showers and storms across the area along a cold front that's going to really change our lives. In fact, we're talking about, 60s for highs Wednesday, 50s for highs on Thursday, and we kind of hang out near 60 Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, maybe forever.
It's looking like fall later in the week.
It's going to feel like fall, too, on Thursday. Yep.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, that's all the time we have. We'll see you back here at 6.